News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Welcome to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning.
I'm Allan Gilbreth with darkoakmedia.com.
And I'm Maximilian. And just for you, Joe, guess what today is?
Talk to me.
World Octopus Day.
Oh, now, the octopi, oh boy. You know, people are interacting with them a lot more than they used to be seen as man's mortal enemy, but people are befriending the octopus now, Allan. Have you noticed?
Well, yeah, because one of them predicted the World Games on the soccer thing. Welcome to Paul the Octopus.
They're pretty smart. I mean,
and of course, there's the Kraken.
The Kraken, okay. I can't say that. I mean, octopus are still weird looking to me. And have you ever gone to like, Whole Foods and seen them in the cooler section? It's a dead octopus is kind of an odd looking creature, but anyway.
A live one's weirder.
Yeah.
I had one.
Yeah. Let me guess, Allan, you had a pet octopus.
I did once upon a time.
The name?
It was just octopus. There was no reason to name him. He knew who you were. he knew when it was lunchtime, baby. He would open the can. He would open the aquarium for you.
Okay.
That was, yeah.
Okay, World Octopus Day. Well, that's pretty good because that could encompass a lot of things. It encompasses our interaction with the animal kingdom and whatever. Okay, we'll get some mileage out of this.
Well, we haven't done a show on aquariums yet. We really need to talk about aquariums as home decor because there is a lot there that you have to consider.
All right, yeah, let's bring that in. So,
one more thing. They
Okay.
said, according to some sources, World Octopus Day was started in 2006 by the Octopus News magazine to celebrate the uniqueness of the octopus.
So they got their own news magazine.
They do.
Okay. See, it's all about branding these days. So, well, you folks, thanks for. We are actually here. This is not a recording.
Yeah.
Unless you're listening 2 years from now and it is a recording or something. But I just want to give a quick shout out. Thanks to everybody who came to the Memphis Comic and Fantasy Convention. I was running around a lot, Allan, but I did meet a few listeners. Did you see any at your booth?
I met everybody.
Okay.
I met
Good.
everybody.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It ran really smooth. It was at our favorite venue, the Hilton Memphis, and everybody was just great. The weather cooperated. It was a nice day, and it was. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of glad it's over. It's a lot of work, man.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So it's nice to be back, but it is live. But boy, we got a backlog of stuff,
No,
Allan.
well, you called me last night and going, "What do you got?" And I'm like, "Ain't you got 3 months worth of stuff?"
Yeah,
sitting
no
in front of you?"
kidding. So, okay. Well, let's start with Allan's week in review. So you're getting ready for the change of seasons, and you're all about fire pit safety. You're talking about greenhouses because that you got to get those plants saved.
Well, we have a hard freeze coming up this Monday evening.
Right.
And that put every one of my clients and everybody I know into high gear this week. And there were a lot of cleaning out greenhouses, patching Coralux. There was a lot of getting stuff ready for winter.
There you go. Now, I've been wanting to get to this cosmic homeowner segment for a while, so let's make a point of doing that because I think it's going to be really good. It's all about I'm going to call this getting to a zero-sum game, basically. So, Allan's got we're going to call this Allan's produce report about, and I'm not going to tease what that's about, but it involves, I don't know if it involves world records, but it does. It involves big things. Let's just say that. So from the mind of Max, we've been teasing this and we really need to get to this. And this is, I'd say this is also a science segment all about the sand battery, which, we've heard of alternative ways of storing energy. That one is new to me. Haven't heard, I don't know. I'm trying to equate sand with storing power. I don't know.
I've got it. I know what you're talking about.
We have a lot more. I'm not teasing it because you know how that works. I'm not gonna do it because we may not get to it for a while. But also, we would love to hear from you, especially how you're going to be celebrating World Octopus Day. Maybe you have a pet octopus and take them out somewhere. I don't know. But anyway, there's a lot on the table. And, of course, we would love to hear from you at the Big M Roofing and Remodeling Hotline, 901-683-0989. But before we get to any of those things, let's get to our must-have item of the week. It doesn't really have a sound effect. I'm just sort of clicking it here. But, Allan, I use these. It's one of these things I almost never use it for the intended purpose, but I suppose you can say, what do I got here?
you have either the adjustable or retractable tripod.
Yeah, I mean, folks, you've probably seen it. This one, okay, so the center, I'm sure you know what a tripod is if you look at a movie scene or a movie set or something, but this one has it's got adjustable legs that at this moment, it looks to me like they're about 15 inches and they probably open to almost 4 feet.
Yes.
And then it's got that center that goes up and down. You can put, some people put a camera on these,
right.
Some people put a light, but on the job site, Allan, I mean, what are you using these for? Because I use them for...
What haven't I used them for?
Yeah.
In combination with various sundered clamps, that becomes your own private Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You can hook him up in a tree branch, clamp him up there, and now you can hang a light in the right spot. You can, oh my gosh. I have to confess, I have about 6 of those.
They're great, man. I love how I'm always I like things that are very portable. Like when you open it up, this thing's 5 or 6 feet tall, but then when you retract it, this thing you can almost just toss it in your back seat. And
now there are 3 of them in the back seat of my truck right now.
Yeah,
we use them. For getting a light in the right place, you and I cannot express enough. When you're working, a properly lit area is almost mission critical.
Well, if you can't see, you can't work on something.
Oh, my gosh.
And so, but also, because sometimes maybe you're doing some fine woodworking or some, trim work or something, but the lighting's terrible, or you're doing some finished painting, and if you can't see, well, what good is that? So, but I've used these also to construct dust barriers. Like, you get 4 or 5 of these, and then you run some, plastic across the top, and then it keeps the dust out of one room while you're working in another room and everything like that. So, but they're great, and I don't think they're that much. I think this one was about $20 or something like that.
Yeah, they usually run somewhere between about $15 to $19 now online or at big box stores.
Okay, here's the thing though, Allan. I have trouble finding these things. I always find them at I acquire them at random places. Where do you get them besides ordering online? Because I guess you got to go to the guitar store or something. I don't know.
Actually,
store.
I find them at a lot of the discount stores, but not all the time. You kind of got to, if you're wandering through, they'll have a closeout batch of them.
Right.
And they'll be the 6 foot with a level on it.
Right.
But they'll be for $19.95 and they got 20 of them. Grab 2 or 3 and keep one for back because you're going to break them. That's the other thing. You will break these. They're not terribly sturdy.
Yeah, if you put a 50-pound weight on it, it's going to collapse.
Well, if you drag them around job sites, people trip over them, people step on them, people run into them, like usual job site stuff.
Yeah, they're handy, but it's odd that I can't find them at. You don't just go to the tripod lane and find.
Well, you do if you want to go
if you go to the.
There's a couple of the major big box electronic chains that carry tripods all the time.
Okay, yeah. So there you go. So the retractable tripod, pretty straightforward. So, hey, Max, I am curious about World Octopus Day, though. Is there anything else you can tell us about this, or?
Maybe more just octopus facts.
Okay, do you got any in front of you? Because they are interesting creatures.
Well, Allan, you probably already know this, but octopi have blue blood.
Oh, really?
It's because of the presence of a certain mineral within them, which is interesting because it's because they have copper and protein in their body. And so, and if they lose an arm, they could also grow back. They swim up to 25 miles per hour for short distances. And there's the biggest recorded octopi specimen had an arm span of 33 feet and weighed 600 pounds.
Gosh, could you imagine coming across that thing? That's the stuff of nightmares. I thought I read some... No, I don't know if it's in some novel or something like Moby Dick or something where they talk about being drunk to death. If that's even more torturous than getting bit in half by a shark or something like that.
Well, then we have to bring up Paul the octopus.
Okay.
The most famous octopus of all time, because back in 2010 during the World Cup, he predicted 12 straight winners in a row. They would put
How do they?
They would put a mussel, one of his favorite foods, in a jar, in 2 jars.
Okay.
And in each one before the match, in the jar with the mussel would be a flag representing who was playing. And whoever he opened first, 12 out of 14 times, he beat even the Vegas odd makers. He successfully predicted the outcomes of the 2010 World Cup.
Really?
And the thing is his was a short but very eventful life because he only lived 2 years.
Yes, he was a grand octopus, and they live very short lifespans. But Paul in 2010, all over the world, was the octopus.
Paul is he's the octopi. So, okay, well, there you go. So we'd love to get your thoughts about World Octopus Day and how you celebrate it. And if you're like Allan, how you like to prepare your octopus. So, all right, when we come back, we have Allan's produce report.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Why does no one visit me in my home?
'Cause your apartment smells like polygrip and cat pee.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
Just open a box of baking soda. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Doors Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning. Here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, grab the champagne and let us know how you're going to be celebrating, because today is World Octopus Day. And Max, there was one other thing about this Paul the Octopus. No, Allan, you told me something about Paul the Octopus off the air that I think we better, just to put a bow on this thing. He's the guy that predicted the World Cup, 10 things in a row? Or
well, yeah, the as kind of a publicity stunt, one of the favorite things people like to do is, watch them challenge the octopus to get his food. So you put a crab or something in a jar, you put a lid on it, you drop it in the tank, and the octopus figures out how to unscrew the lid and,
really
make a snack out of whatever was in the jar. So they thought it would be funny if we would have, like, Paul the Octopus, I don't know, see if he can predict what's going to happen at the World Cup, because it's the World Cup. And they did it a couple of times, and, people were like, yay. Well, about the third time he gets it right, suddenly the aquarium has now got, police and riot gear and crowd control and people swarming the streets waiting to see what the next Paul prediction is. And like I said, 12 out of 14 picks. That's like an 85% correct ratio.
The bookies were in that crowd, right?
Oh, my God. Paul the Octopus. Now, octopi do not live long. They have short, glorious lives. They never make it past 2 or 3 years. So
even the big ones?
Only 2 or 3. They get that big in like 2 or 3 years.
Oh,
they get the whole thing. It's one and done, baby. It's over with.
Well, they're really highly intelligent because they have 9 brains, 3 hearts, 3 hearts, and they're really good. They said they're really good at solving puzzles, opening jars, and even using tools.
Okay, Allan.
So octopi are the next threat, other than raccoons.
Yeah, wait till they get the car keys.
No, well,
but
if
Allan,
they team up with the raccoons, we're over. That's all I got to say.
9 brains. Does that mean one brain is working only on one area of, one part of the brain deals with getting food, the other part deals with mobility.
I know the answer, but go ahead, Allan.
Well, it is actually a redundancy ring. It works much like a network in a computer. What you have which you have different processing units all connected with each other, so they're sharing the load.
So there's like 9 octopus.
What it does is it drastically reduces what we would call lag time. So, Joe is a perfect example of lag time and tools. Here we go.
There we go.
You are working with a hot iron.
Okay.
So you're working with a hot iron, and we have all done it. We've touched it.
Oh, yeah.
And it hurts a lot. Okay, well, the reason you burned so badly was the lag time it took for the nerve message to get from whatever bumped into that little darling to your brain and back so you could react. Now, if you had a distributed network, and let's say you had a reaction junction brain in your elbow, instead of having to get all the way back to your brain and get back to your finger only had to talk to the elbow to know to get your hand off of it.
Because the octopi have a central brain and then 8 smaller one in the arm, each arm, I guess you could say.
Okay, so Allan, the question comes. We've said how much. It just shows we are really ahead of the curve on Tool Talk Radio because we've said all along that the more technology advances, the more it's going to look the more natural it's going to become. Well, why aren't we partnering up with the octopi? Why don't we? Okay, I mean, more than we have now. I could see them running some critical operations in certain buildings or in certain I don't know, man. I feel like we should tap into their
and
their
Doctor
intellect.
Who had nothing to do with dialects either.
Okay. Well, I mean, the Flintstones had the answer. They have the dinosaurs helping them do construction work and stuff. Well, maybe the octopus can help us in our quest. So.
In bizarre ways, studying like the nerve system of an octopus gives us ideas on how to build better networks.
Okay, that's very interesting, though. They are interesting creatures. I mean, I don't want to encounter a big one in the ocean, but I mean,
I've encountered a number of them on the opposite end of some little garlic and butter, but
yeah.
And don't encounter a blue-ringed octopus because it's one of the few octopi out there with deadly venom.
Okay,
it will kill you.
Yes,
all right,
and they're small, like that Indiana Jones thing.
Okay, all right. Well, I think we've dove deep into World Octopus Day, but it's time to shift gears, Allan. I don't even know how to tee this up other than this is Allan's produce report.
I don't care. I'm just using this one anyways.
Okay.
Oh, the humanity.
Probably pretty apropos. It is the Halloween season, right?
And we're going to talk about that for just a second, Joe, because I'm going to ask you a pointed question.
Okay.
Every year there's, the fall fairs and that kind of stuff, and they have all kinds of categories. And a lot of them, we've all seen the pictures from Alaska of the really big cabbages.
Oh, have we? I didn't know cabbages get that big.
Oh, cabbages get huge.
Okay.
So we all know everybody likes to grow really big pumpkins.
Oh, yeah.
And in the early 70s, the world's biggest pumpkin was about 131 pounds.
Isn't that something?
That's a big pumpkin. How big do you think this year's winter was?
I think it was bigger.
It was bigger.
by quite a bit.
2,819 pounds.
Okay, that's the weight of a car.
It was 21 feet across the circumference.
Wait, that's longer than a car.
This is the size of a vehicle. This was literally, they grew Cinderella's carriage. The rind was over a foot thick, and during its growth period, it only took 131 days to grow it. It was soaking up 130 gallons of water a day.
I'm picturing some mad scientist with some laser beam pointing at that. How do you get something to grow this big?
Greenhouse. It is protected.
That can't be the end. Just a greenhouse.
They
what are you
put
feeding this thing?
A lot. Whatever it wants.
Well, what does that mean?
What it is they have every grower that competes in these things has their own special blend and mix and plant fertilizers that they like to use. But the trick is they cut it down to just the one pumpkin on the vine. So
so nobody's sharing nutrients. This
right. We're pumping it all into and I think they named this one Muggy.
Muggy. I was about to ask if they had a name for
this. They had a name for it. So Muggy the Pumpkin was this year's big winner. And they're absolutely massive, but it brought up a big point that I've made on a lot of my clients was, okay, you're out of time.
What do you mean?
You're out of time. We're going to have a hard freeze Sunday to Monday.
Oh, you mean
it's going to get 26, 27 degrees.
Okay.
So whatever plants you got that you got outside that are cold sensitive, they're not ready for winter, you're out of time. Get them inside. Get them in the greenhouse, get them in the garage, get them wherever it is you're going to put them, because by Tuesday or Wednesday, we're going to have had a hard freeze, the first one of the season. And I hear it constantly, probably more than you do. Everybody's like, oh, I lost my peppers. Oh, I didn't get them in the greenhouse in time. I didn't. Well, this is right now, the sound of my voice. This is your call to action today in the Mid-South.
Because it's sunny here in Memphis.
It's beautiful right now.
It's sunny and it's going to be about 70 degrees, but tomorrow.
It gets a little funky and then it starts getting cold, and we are going to have a below freezing event. Again, first of the season, we do get we have a fairly mild winter in our area. But, those delicate plants, they're going to get whacked.
I do have a question, though, getting back to Muggy the pumpkin. What do they do with this thing? Because, you got a 2,000-pound pumpkin. Well, if you just let it sit there, it's not going to,
Well, actually, they get donated.
Okay,
they wind up food pantries and that kind of stuff. But they also, the seeds to this little darling are going to make the brothers that grew it some serious cash.
I just can't.
Everybody wants one.
But when you cut this thing open, you got to work quickly, right? Because you don't
it's
want
a
the
pumpkin.
Stuff to go
Pumpkins. All right. Just to give you an idea how long a pumpkin can last, I actually put one in my garage on a piece of tile on the floor.
Yeah.
So it was on the concrete. That pumpkin made it from Halloween to March.
Okay. All right. So Muggy can hang tough.
I'll have to give you a fun fact about Muggy's name once we come back.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's all over the map today, folks. So stay tuned. We don't know what's coming up when we come back here on Tool Talk Radio.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Did somebody say boom?
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
And, excuse me. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, the show has become sidetracked, I guess you could say. It's all about pumpkins and octopi today. And apparently Muggy the pumpkin is making news everywhere, right? This is worldwide news. This giant pumpkin that what is it? It's over 2,000 pounds, 2,300 pounds.
It is 2,819 pounds.
Oh, 800. Okay. Holy
2,819. Well, is
that the world record? I guess every year there's
a
new
world record this year. And this ties directly into Tool Talk because of the amount of people, especially in the Mid-South, that have greenhouses, that have got raised bed gardens, that have got, an extensive amount of work done in their yards that, every winter people, their fire pits get cracked.
Yeah.
Or the greenhouse fails, and right now is the perfect time, while it's beautiful, to get out there and get these things serviced and make sure you're in good working order.
Okay. Hey, but Max, where did Muggy get? You said there was some Harry Potter connection, which intrigued
Muggle.
me. Oh, Muggle. Okay, so it's for a Muggle, it's doing pretty good, man. It set a world record. So there you go. So, in a minute, we've got a science / Mind of Max story that we're going to talk about. But before we do that, let's talk about our good buddies over at Groundworks. They are all about the protection and the health of the foundation of your home. And they're actually a little overdue for a visit, Allan. I think we're going to be having them in the near future. But foundation problems, for one thing, are foundational. You have to address them. If you're a homeowner, you need a healthy foundation. That's the basis of everything going on in your home. And sometimes foundation problems, they come in they may be big problems, they may be small problems, but all of our foundations are different depending on if you have a slab or a basement or a crawl space, or if you're on a hill, or if you're at the bottom of a hill, or whatever. Everybody's foundation is a little bit different. And problems can manifest themselves in unusual ways. They may not be very obvious to a new homeowner. You may have an odd musty smell, or you have these sticking windows or doors, or these stair step cracks in your bricks, or on your chimney. Any of these can indicate a problem with your foundation, and they need to be addressed. The great news is there's nobody better than Groundworks. Allan, you've seen their operation over there.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Over there in South Haven. I mean, they are fully equipped to deal with any issues you have with your foundation. And the thing is, the inspection is free. It is very comprehensive. They're going to come out. They're going to bring their detecting equipment. Basically, it's almost like getting it's like a doctor's appointment for your home. They do a very thorough checkup on your foundation, and then when they're done, they sit down with you and report what they found. Hopefully, you get a clean bill of health. But if there's any problems with your foundation, they're the ones that can help you fix it. And then you get a game plan and you get it addressed, and you're all set to go. But foundation problems never get better with age, so don't wait. It's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, this is a free inspection. So get in touch with our friends at Groundworks. You can call them at 901-459-2290 or visit groundworks.com and book your free inspection today. All right, well, okay, guys. Well, let's shift gears here.
Hail science!
Max, you brought this to our attention, and what do we got here, man?
Well, this is something I brought to your attention like way long ago.
Like 2 months ago.
It's actually very overdue. It's actually like since February.
Yeah.
No, since September.
Okay.
But anyways, so I wanted to talk about the sand battery, rather the world's largest sand battery, which is in the Finnish town of Pornainen.
Okay.
Which helps to reduce carbon emissions by 70%. And it uses renewables to heat sand to almost 850 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius. And it's encased in about 43 foot tall and 49 feet wide steel container. And Allan could probably explain the science a little bit better than I, but you have these heat transfer pipes that you put into the middle of the sand to heat it. But the heat comes from like it works in tandem with some of the other renewables, and it's used to provide electricity during some of the more lull periods to kind of help the grid, take some of the slack off of the grid, especially during the colder seasons.
Huh. Okay. So okay. Hey, Allan, how hot does sand have to get to melt and turn into glass? Like, that's thousands of degrees, right?
You're looking basically, the easiest to melt would be like bauxite aluminum particles, which is in the 1200 degree range. So 800 degrees, 900 degrees, you're fine.
It's toasty. We've walked on the sand at the beach, and it's, okay.
Well, the sand battery falls in with the wave battery, the lake battery, and several others, where while the daylight is out, you're using solar energy or wind energy, or in some cases, an Iceland geothermal energy. And, so these are basically the free energies. And while you have the free ones, you're charging something to act as a storage unit.
Okay. Now it's making sense.
So as soon as the sun goes down and the cold sets in, you now have a giant insulated storage of all of that heat.
Okay.
So now you've been building it up all day, and now all that potential energy can now be released into the system, and it can drive a turbine, or it can just warm air, or it can provide what other transition you need to make these happen. We'll even go a step further, because coming soon to the homeowner, I'm going to bring this one right into your backyard, Max. Coming soon to the homeowner may be the fact that the very concrete your house sits on could be a battery.
Now we're talking. Because we've talked about shingles. We've talked about just take the heat. I mean, we've got this giant sun every day that's right there. Why can't we tap into that?
Well, more and more as we are developing these technologies. So somebody would look at me. Actually, I had a conversation about this exact battery a few weeks ago. And somebody's like, well, why? Well, it can't run the whole town. It can't run the whole time. It can't. Why? And he goes, all right, guys, go small, go now. This is the technology we have. Mm-hmm. And for anybody that's ever done anything, and I'll pick on my assistant for a minute. Bless her heart, over a year ago, she didn't know which end of the hammer to use.
Yeah.
And for the last 3 months, I don't do anything without her permission. You learn.
Yeah.
You learn. These systems teach us what we can do and how far we can take something. Now, a system like this, which was developed by, help me, Max, Polar Night Energy, isn't that who did it?
Correct.
All right. Polar Night Energy is, well, okay, guys, we have got a lot of daylight for 90 days.
Oh, right, because they're up north. So
And well, this is Finland. I mean, and then, guys, then we don't have a lot of daylight, so you got to make the most of it while you got it.
Right.
So welcome to this type of technology. And the great thing is it's off the fossil fuels. It's not producing, a consistent bad product.
Right. That's it, when you said that about somebody saying, well, what's the point? Because it's whatever. Things always start this way. You have to have a proof of concept. And so I don't know, man. To me, this is great news. And sand, okay, let's just suppose sand, you heat it up to 800 degrees. It doesn't change its structure, right? So no, I guess what I'm wondering is how long could you heat and cool and reheat the
Forever.
sand? It's just that you're talking about rocks, right?
You're talking about tiny little
Micro
rocks.
rock. Well,
micro rocks.
Bingo. What's wrong with that? I mean, to me, that makes perfect sense.
Well, in a bizarrely and twisted related idea, let's make the leap to LED lighting.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a project a couple of weeks ago for a client who was having a big family celebration was coming in. A loved one had passed, and they were looking to get the backyard and everything ready for a number of people.
Mm-hmm.
But rather than run a lot of lights and do all this kind of stuff, she really wanted to kind of do something more permanent. So we took down everything that was connected to the power, and we replaced it with modern solar. So
Which
the
is
same
improving.
bin,
The lights are getting better.
oh, oh my goodness, they're amazing. We put in, bug zapper flame torches that are LEDs.
Right.
We put in lighting all around the walkways. We put in no wires, nothing to trip on, nothing adding to your electricity bill. So when you look at projects like the one here in Finland, all right, these are the projects that are bringing us products to our homes. And let's face it, the products have gotten drastically cheaper as the technology's improved.
It's all good. I mean, I that's the thing. It's just like the space program brought us all this stuff that winds up in our big box store. It's all, all these advancements.
Or our breakfast table.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we can't
honest.
just keep pumping oil out of the ground and digging up coal and this makes perfect sense to me to go more natural, especially, man, when you're talking about that basically you can just keep heating the sand and letting it cool indefinitely. I mean, it's rocks, so there we go. That sounds pretty good, Max. I like that. The sand battery, and hopefully it'll be coming to a home near us soon. So, all right, well, we've put it off long enough. When we come back, we're going to find out what Allan did this week.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
You have paid the price for your lack of vision.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, boy, the day's getting sidetracked by octopi and giant pumpkins. And now, Max, you're going down the rabbit hole of looking at giant competitive fruit growers, right? I mean,
Sorry, I'm also distracted by watching a video of an octopus that eats a shark in an aquarium.
I mean, that's not funny, I guess, but yeah.
It wasn't for the shark.
No, yeah. Didn't you say they? Okay. Anyway, what was that? Was that the Shed Aquarium in Chicago?
The Shed Aquarium. There's a thing about a video I was watching called Octopus Enrichment, and it shows them like playing with little toys as if they were children.
Brother. Okay. Yeah, they're figuring out how to make a weapon out of those things, and yeah. Apparently, you don't tangle with an octopus. Sharks learn that the hard way, right? So.
Well, wasn't it Despicable Me that had the squid gun?
There you go. So, okay. All right. Well, if you have any thoughts, today is World Octopus Day, and also we're celebrating in this season of the harvest, we're celebrating some of the great giant produce that's being grown out there. An 18-pound tomato.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to have to. I mean, how much pasta marinara
That's one.
could you
Yeah,
make
how many
out of
tomatoes
that?
you need? One.
Yeah. Hand me that tomato. So, okay. Well, let's see what Allan did this week.
Guess what
Oh, the humanity.
It's very rare that I have to use the same button twice.
What are you going to do? So, okay. All right. Well, Allan, what'd you do this week?
Well,
what
oddly,
did you do the last 3 weeks?
I didn't do it last month.
Yeah.
Oddly, everything I've done ties completely into today.
There you go.
Of a lot of one, the backyard is no longer a sterile grass farm.
Your back? Because your
no
yard
one's
is...
backyard.
Oh, okay.
No, well, yours might be, but most people these days have some form of feature or something going on in the backyard.
I see what you're saying.
And since we're here in the middle of fall, it's time for the changeover. You were cutting the grass, you're out there playing with the dog and all that. Well, congratulations. Winter's on the way. The leaves are falling. Quick word about the leaves falling. Let them fall. Then get out there with your lawnmower and mow them into the lawn. And congratulations, you now got free
fertilizer. Right?
Free fertilizer and free mulch.
We've been doing that for the last 4 years. It's like, if you do it, if you don't wait till it's 5 inches.
No, you got to get out there
every week.
Yeah, get out there every week, and it saves you a lot of money in lawn care in the spring.
Yeah.
Two, if you've got water features. Let's go ahead and get them winterized, get them turned down, because I always hear from some poor homeowner that I spent all this money on this pump and on this beautiful display, and then it froze and cracked.
Right.
It's kind of like, let's go ahead and get that winterized now.
And it
now
just takes
good.
one cold night that you forgot about it, and there you
Next
go.
thing you know, you got ice from one level to the other all the way down. I want to throw in a 2-second warning about, again, the fire pit. It's fire pit season. Let's get out there and let's enjoy them. Let's do some s'mores. Let's do some marshmallows, but don't use native rock on the inside exposed to the heat.
You better explain that because I've listened to Tool Talk Radio. I know what the warning is, but what do you mean native rock? Like, because
Just
you don't just
old
grab any rock.
Bingo, because you don't know its structure. Now, if you are looking at like cinder blocks and pavers and stuff that has been made, these things are designed to wick moisture back and forth. So,
like a brick is almost like a sponge, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You set a brick in water, you take a dry brick and weigh it. You set it in water for 24 hours, you weigh that brick, you will see a substantial difference. The biggest thing to a lot of these, the pavers and the cinder blocks, they handle heat really well.
See, I would have thought it was the opposite. Because when you're saying this, I was thinking, okay, well, what if you have like a cinder block fire pit that you just threw together yourself? My thought is, okay, it's full of moisture and it's maybe you heat it up and then it expands. But you're saying it's built into the structure, the flexibility and the evaporation.
It lets the moisture escape. Now, if you've got a rock, you don't know what its structure is. And a lot of rocks are oddly, and this is kind of a little geology fact, many of them may be harder on the outside than they are the inside.
That makes sense. I mean, a lot of things form a skin. And
they can bust. They will crack or even burst. So I always tell everybody, if you're going to put in a fire pit, and a lot of people are asking right now, I mean, then I was like, get a commercial fire pit and then put whatever you want ringed around it.
Right.
But now you got that nice metal down there. I'm not worried about stuff exploding or popping out or causing a fire.
I do have a question.
So we want to do it safely.
I do have a question about fire pit safety because actually this is my wife and I are talking about doing this in the future of our back porch that we have.
Yes.
Well, we're thinking of enclosing it and then having on the very outside of it like our own fire. I don't know where you can barbecue, a grill or something like that. But with I guess you've seen these things where like fire pits these days, some of them have like a screen over the top for safety so that you know what I mean?
Right.
Like so that the embers and stuff aren't floating. Well, when you have a chimney, is that sort of naturally dispersing the ember? Like in other words, by the time it travels the 15 feet through the chimney, is it basically, did they put out the embers or is that still dangerous?
Well, every municipality has a rule as to how far off the structure a chimney must extend.
Okay.
So there's got to be at least 3 or 4 feet above your structure. And it depends on what county you live in and what kind of house you have. Something has to stick out far enough that it's not going to be dumping, like you said, a live ember directly on your roof.
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering, by the time it travels through there and it's bouncing off the brick, does
It's
it go out?
normally expended itself.
Okay.
By the time it gets out of the chimney and onto a substrate that it could affect, the general idea is that it's expended itself. Now, if you stuff a Christmas tree into your fireplace and it goes up like a jet-fueled rocket, and it will, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
please
that's
do not
flammable.
do that. Now you're going to set the inside of your chimney on fire. You're going to be blowing fire out of the top of it. And, all right, that's not how it was intended to be used. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to point out is a lot of people have got storage units and greenhouses. Now's a good time to make sure that the bases around them are good and clean and intact, because as it gets cold, critters are going to look to move in.
Well, I got a question about that. So is the magic thing to just keep it above freezing? Because even a greenhouse is going to get cold in there, right? Or is it just that you're keeping it away from the immediate
The biggest thing
freeze?
is the wind.
Oh, the wind.
Yeah, the wind is what is really going to do you. Now, if you have, over the last 2 years, we've had several days of concentrated cold.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, a friend of mine spent a lot of time and effort getting all of her plants in her greenhouse, but it was below freezing for, what did we have, like 5 days, 6 days? That were just...
Did we?
Yeah, that were never above freezing.
Oh, okay.
Not a single day was above freezing. So the greenhouse never got a chance to heat up. And she lost her plants.
Okay.
So because she did not have any additional heat in the greenhouse, she lost her plants.
The
because
wind
it was
is
just
interesting. So,
yeah, but the biggest point to a greenhouse is to stop the wind and let you control the water content.
Okay. And also, I guess because like my wife and my daughter, they have plants that they bring in and they just leave it in our sunroom, but now they're not getting as much sun.
Right.
It's a trade-off, right? I mean, because some plant, I don't know. I guess you just got to really think about what plants you bring into your life, because it's almost like caring for a kid or something, right? I mean,
Sometimes you
yeah.
get attached to them.
Okay, well, but regardless, folks, it is about to get cold, even though it doesn't feel like it right now, but it's coming. So, all right, well, hour one of Tool Talk Radio is in the can, but stay tuned. We have a lot coming up, including our great moments in building history, and if time permits, the Cosmic Homeowner.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis. Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
And boy, all my intros have been off, Allan. And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, there's too much to recap. It is World Octopus Day, we will say that. And we are celebrating some of the large produce that's been grown out there in the world. Hopefully it's feeding a lot of people, Allan. We hope Muggy the pumpkin will become
a lot of pies.
A lot of pumpkin pies, a lot of pumpkin seeds and things like that. But also, we were talking a little science. This sand battery sounds like a really interesting technology to keep our eyes on. And Allan, you were talking a little bit about fire safety and not fire pit safety and things like that. So it's there's a lot on the table, but I suspect that there's some people that just woke up and they're crying into their coffee because they missed the first half of Tool Talk Radio. But Allan, there's good news for those folks, right?
There is indeed. All they got to do is pop over to tooltalkradio.com And there is honestly years and years and years of content sitting up there. We are podcast. We are basically, as the phrase goes, wherever you get your podcast from, we're there. We are heavily featured on YouTube and Spotify. And for those of you listening outside of the Mid-South, I'd like to say, hello to a bunch of new listeners in Norway.
Yeah, when are they going to send us a message?
I'm ready for some of our international listeners to start sending us some pics.
Because I have to believe in Norway, they're already getting snow and everything.
Oh
up
yeah,
there, right?
They're deep into the season already.
Okay, yeah. Well, we appreciate everybody that listens, and but we'd appreciate it even more if you'd send us a message. So,
oh yeah, we want to see stuff.
And especially, I'm really curious about some of these homeowner challenges that you face, especially, or if you live somewhere like, Australia. What is your plumbing situation like when you have pythons and things coming in and out of your sewage system?
Don't even get me started about the Great Emu War.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to hear from all of you. But that is one of the fun things about today's technology. You can listen from anywhere in the world, right on your phone. Pretty cool.
Indeed.
So, all right. Well, Max, I don't know. Do you have anything for this?
And now, the Cosmic Homeowner on Tool Talk Radio.
All right, that's very dramatic, Max. All right, I like the music. That's pretty cool. So, well, we haven't done very many of these Cosmic Homeowner shows, but or segments, I should say. But when the Cosmic Homeowner, I suppose, is more having a broader view of where we are. As we've said many times, we are. If you think about the Earth, we are on a floating spacecraft hurtling through space on tectonic plates that are shifting. It's amazing we're even here, Alan.
Yes.
I mean, when you think about all these things, and all of these factors play a role into being a homeowner, into taking care of your property. So the more, I suppose, the more you think of the bigger picture, I think the better off we'll be. So, well, here's I don't really know what I would title this, Alan, but it's more along the lines of I was thinking about all of the waste that we have in terms of packaging, in terms of buying things, and I'm like, I think with our technology, it's possible to get to a zero-sum situation. What do I mean by that? I'm thinking, I've told you that my wife and I now have a policy where we're trying to declutter. Like, we love getting rid of things, and we sort of have this new rule that if we bring something new into the house, we have to get rid of something. Like, we just don't want to fill the house up. So I'm wondering if we could get to a situation where at the moment, so we have trash. We take out the garbage every week, and then we, most of us have a recycling bin. Well, so what if we got to a point where basically the things that we got rid of all got reused? And so maybe instead of having 2 bins, what if we had like 8 or 10 bins? Like, the plastic goes here, the glass goes here, the paper goes here, and all of this could be repurposed and recycled.
I think I talked about something similar. Maybe you're building off of it and just putting it in a different way. But I was talking about the idea of nothing like going wasted, like in terms of like waste materials of things that we produce. For example, like not letting material, like, for example, if we saw something and we produce sawdust, how could we use the waste material like sawdust in a way, repurpose it in a way to where it never really is truly wasted?
Yeah. Or the pecan trees that I cut down. We had a pecan tree that was dying that we cut down. Well, these barbecue guys came over because they said, we will cut this up and we'll haul it away, because apparently pecan trees make great really smoking and stuff. Yeah. But Alan, I was thinking more along the lines of, can we just get to a point where we don't think in terms of, okay, that's just a landfill, this is garbage, we're going to dump this. And also maybe less, one other thing about this is, I saw this a lot when my kids were little. They earned an allowance, so I would take them to, Toys R Us or whatever, and they would buy something, and honestly, the packaging, you could have a toy that's 5 or 10 inches tall, and the packaging could be, it's so much extra garbage that it's it's really wasteful. So I guess I was just thinking, and what if we also got to a point where maybe there were certain items that in our home we almost had mini recycling machines in our homes so that when they could be traded in for money. Maybe you take them to I don't know. You have these, I guess I'm just thinking of, we got to quit wasting stuff, man.
Well, the world actually agrees with you because we are on the verge in 2025 of becoming an intergalactic society.
Talk to me.
Well, we have international space stations.
Yeah.
We're heading to the moon.
Space
I mean,
mining. We're going back.
Let's just flat out and simple say we're going to the moon. Will there be a space station on the moon? The answer is unequivocally yes, there will be.
Yeah.
So you can't have unmanageable waste. So
That's true. They're not going to just fill up the moon with garbage. They got to repurpose.
Now, as you said earlier, from the earlier space programs that began in the 50s and the 60s, culminating out into the 70s, the avalanche of products, water filters, filtration systems, Velcro.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you start looking at the amazing amount of products that have continued to affect and change our lives, and believe it or not, freeze drying.
Yeah.
Well, freeze drying gives us, I don't know, stuff like powdered mud.
Right.
Then we have hot mud. We have so many products that if you want to draw enough lines, you play 6 separations of space travel, we can wind up at the hardware big box store really easily.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And, we are developing these systems now because that's the only way we can get off planet.
Well, it's not only that. We just can't clutter up the planet with garbage and stuff. So, yeah.
Well, we have a legacy of doing that here, but we're going to have a culture of not doing that in the future.
Yeah.
So our generation, Joe, as I look at us, I go, is it too late for our generation to learn? No. Are we truly going to get the whole message? No. However, when I look over here at producer Max and go look at his generation is going to pick up the ball where we're going to leave it.
Yeah.
And they're going to continue changing the culture because, again, to get off planet, we can't have waste. Everything has to be accounted for because you got no place else to put it.
Right.
That culture will continue working its way backwards to us and the possibility of the big buck store. Are we always going to have some kind of waste? Yes. Do we have the truly terrible waste of the 30s and 40s and 50s? Well, we're not making lead paint anymore. We're not putting asbestos in people's homes. We're not, we're using more and more eco-friendly products every year. Our products are getting safer every year.
Right.
So is the culture going to change overnight? No. Is it changing? Yes.
Well, and I think, too, though, that the key to all this, because it's easy to say, but you got to get people to do it. I think that the key is to have financial incentive to do it. So, for example, what if you've got those 8 or 10 bins in your and maybe these are just very portable little things, but like you get a box of cereal. Well, you stuff the cardboard into this one thing, and it compresses it down to a little cube. Then you stick the plastic in the other, and maybe you get credits for all the. You bring these back to the grocery store, and you drop it in the bin, and now you suddenly get a $30 credit towards your groceries or something, and you have financial incentive to keep clean. But I mean, we could make plastics that are biodegradable. We could make so. I don't know. I just think we should get to an idea where we're not. Within reason, we're basically it becomes a zero-sum game.
I think we're working our way towards that.
Okay, cool. Well, it's just a thought, and I think we'll be better for it. At least these conversations are happening now, so we'll get there. Max, it'll probably be your generation to carry us through. But okay, this is going to be good. When we come back in Great Moments in Building History, we're going to talk about the Austrian power giants.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
I'm here to clean the carpets. Most of the world is carpeted, and one day we will do the cleaning.
News Talk 98.9, The Roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody.
Hey, you didn't flummox.
Yeah. Well, now you just messed it up. We haven't had a clean opening yet, Max. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And boy, what a day. It's been very wide-ranging, and there's a lot. So I would highly recommend, if you missed any of the show, come back as soon as Allan posts it up on tooltalkradio.com.
Mm-hmm.
We've got it up on Spotify and YouTube.
Spotify, YouTube,
Check it
Facebook,
out.
all that good stuff.
Okay, but there's still more to come. So let's dive into it, gentlemen.
And now, great moments in building history.
Okay, well, this is a new construction, and it's mostly it's a cool construction, but it's more about, I think this is going to lead to a broader discussion. That's what intrigued me. So in Austria, we've all seen these. We have these big power lines everywhere. Yep. We have to get electricity from one place to another, and of course, Austria is one of these places. It's like natural beauty. I mean, you've seen The Sound of Music,
right?
You know what a nice place it is, and so these power lines, a lot of people don't love the fact that you have to have power lines going across these beautiful valleys and mountains and things, but you have to have them. So they decided that these are called the Austrian Power Giants. So what they're going to do is, apparently Austria has 9 federal regions, I guess, or states, I guess, like what we would call our states. And so each one is going to get a specific animal. At the moment, they have it looks like to me like a giant steer, and then they have another large bird. So folks, if you can imagine an electrical tower, we've actually posted this on our Facebook page. They're pretty cool. They're taking something that's sort of unattractive or just functional, and they're making it a piece of art, which it's interesting.
My initial criticism was, when I was thinking about it, until I actually looked up the images, it's like, all right, is this going to be a bit too kitschy, having something like, but no, the design is very aesthetically pleasing, and it's making something that's already there a little bit more interesting. It almost makes me think of those giant statues from The Lord of the Rings.
They look cool. Yeah, it gets you thinking about something different. But Allan, I was like, why can't our infrastructure be interesting? That's where my mind was going. So,
well, when you look at stuff like this, you've got to admire that somebody went, that there was a late night conversation somewhere, somehow, when they went, nobody likes power towers.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll even give you a City of Memphis direct tie-in to these. Have you noticed the fake fir trees?
The cell towers.
Towers. If you go to the Memphis Public Library, you drive around the parking lot, you'll see a funny-looking tree off to your right-hand side. Mm-hmm. It's not a tree.
Right.
It looks like one of those, fake Christmas trees you buy at your big box store this time of year. It is a cell tower. Yeah. And it is decorated to be less obvious.
Right.
It's still a cell tower. We all know it's a cell tower. But yet, it doesn't glaringly grab your eye and go, hey, look, pretty tree, big ugly metal thing.
Right.
So, here the Austrian government has gone, we got to have power.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it has to be boring. So within a certain boundary of resources, we can make these things look more interesting.
Yeah, and they're structurally good. I mean, the steer especially, it's got a pretty wide base.
Well, that's a deer, not a steer.
Is it a deer?
It's a deer.
Okay, whatever it is. Yeah. Okay, because it's got the big it looks like Bambi's father.
It is Bambi's
daddy.
It is Bambi's
before the
daddy,
tragedy.
Right. Well, and here's the other thing that throws in of when it comes to doing these type of power lines, there are a lot of little things you have to do, like to make sure birds' wings can't cross them and get electrocuted, and can't this and can't that. So they're taking all these requirements, and since it's got to be that wide anyway, why don't we make it decorative?
Right.
Now, the flip side to this is because it is decorative and it's differently shaped, of welcome to European tourism.
There you go. That's what I was wondering because this, yeah, exactly.
Well, if you've got to drive, all right, now in the United States, I am actually from the state of Texas, and it is entirely possible to drive for 8 hours in any direction you want. And congratulations, guess what?
Yeah.
You're still in Texas.
Oh, I know. I drove across Texas once. It took me 12 hours, and I'm like, am I ever going to get out of Texas?
Yeah,
Like,
Texas is not small. So for those of us on the East Coast, you drive for 8 hours.
Yeah.
You've been through multiple states. Right?
Yeah.
Welcome to Europe. Austria is not that huge of a country compared to the United States. But there are other countries, and they, with the European Union, a lot of people move around quite a bit. And if you've done something, all right, you got to build a power tower anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to do this anyway. You're going to spend the money and the resources. Okay, so if it costs you $1 to do this, and it costs you $1.05 to do it more interestingly, why not just go ahead and go for it?
Yeah.
And like you said, they've got 9 districts in the country of Austria, and each one will have its own critter.
I'm just thinking how interesting this would look if you lit it correctly at night. This could look really cool. Because these are, like I said, Austria is a beautiful country. I mean, they have all this natural, all the natural landscapes. Imagine if you had this thing lit up dramatically and you're there, at sunset. That it could look pretty cool, man.
No, we in Memphis would know nothing about lighting up a large bridge.
Right. Right. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about this mindset, and I'm going to mention something. I am an unapologetic fan of Buc-ee's.
Mm-hmm.
This reminds me exactly of Buc-ee's because the business model, I think, is actually brilliant. Everybody needs gas when you're traveling.
Right.
And so they take something that you have to have, which is usually kind of a hassle. It's like, okay, we got to stop. Let's get gas. Let's go to the bathroom.
The restrooms are bad.
And whatever. Let's just get this over with. Well, they took that and turned it into a destination where people look forward to get it. They're like, no, we're going to wait 75 miles and we're getting to Buc-ee's, and that's going to be.
Right.
So it's the same thing. You take a necessity and you turn it into an event. And I mean, that's a hugely successful business model. To me, you're actually talking about tourism here. People may say, hey, we're doing the power tower circuit. We're going to check out all the animals.
At least it's better than the fish heads.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Max. So,
all right. And let me throw you in another bizarre twist to this because we're not using a standardized power tower layout of what of natural accoutrements could go with this.
Oh, there you
AK,
go.
do we have areas in the stork's legs that are actually for songbirds to nest?
Oh, now that's a cool idea.
Well,
yeah, you make it a whole thing.
You have again. We know we've been kind of. You've thought we've been sidetracked today, and we really haven't. We've really been focusing on the green aspects of home ownership, community, city at large, and now we've stepped out to country at large, in which, if you take a deep breath and just kind of think it through for a minute, what else could we do while we're doing this?
Right.
Well, we already got to build it anyway. We're already going to do this. So how do we soften the impact? How do we make it more interesting? How do we make it a part of our conservation efforts? How do we not kill eagles by having them land on the power lines?
Right.
How do we, so there's lots of little thoughts, but when you think it through completely, you wind up with something cool like a 100-foot tall deer that's a lot easier, more interesting to look at than a series of power towers.
Right. And it's art. It's a
very
conversation piece. So yeah. It's exactly because I was thinking there's a lot of other things. I was basically thinking about our infrastructure that we have to have for cities and to just basically have a society. And it's like, maybe it's time to rethink that instead of just making it strictly functional. There's probably multi-use things you could do. So I've got ideas. about some of that when we come back. But
Okay, well,
yeah, but no, this is very cool. It's the Austrian power giants, and I suppose I guess we're waiting to see what the next animals are going to be because there's several more to come. But check it out, folks. Go to our at Tool Talk Radio over on Facebook and check these babies out. They're pretty interesting. So, well, when we come back, we've got some ideas about how we can improve the aesthetics of our infrastructure right here in the Mid-South.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Oh, I steal things all the time. It's just something I do. I stopped carrying a long time ago. You should see how many supplies I've taken from this place. Honestly, I love stealing things.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth of darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass.
Let's see if we can get through one clean introduction.
Well, you just undercut it again, Matt. You're
No,
never
you
supposed to
didn't
call
because you laughed
attention
it.
to. Okay, whatever. You don't call attention to mistakes on radio, but anyway. And if you're just joining us, there's been a lot on the table, but we are in the middle of a pretty interesting great moments in building history. Not so much. It's not just the Austrian power giants that we're talking about. It's a larger discussion about making our infrastructure more interesting and more aesthetically pleasing. So we're going to get back to that in just a minute. Before we get to that, though, we want to talk about our good buddy Jay Hill with Big M Roofing and Remodeling. Well, Allan, talk about a solid infrastructure. Well,
I have a question, though.
Yeah.
Artistic expression. How can Jay express himself through the roofs he lays?
Oh, I have seen some of the more creative jobs that he's done, especially in the Midtown and downtown area.
Yeah.
I'm going to say artistic expression is there.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful works.
Maybe we could get him to start doing treating the roof as a mosaic. That might get a bit complicated if you got every roof shingle is a different color, and it's
He did one that actually wasn't far off of that not too long ago.
gotta
It was a
ask him about
Spanish
that.
tile. It was gorgeous.
Okay, cool. Well, speaking of a solid infrastructure, well, that's one of the things that sets Jay apart. The infrastructure of his business is very solid. Well, for one thing, Jay is all about the exterior protection of your home, from roofing to gutters to siding to windows. And they all of these are systems that have to work in harmony. Oh, and and all interior and exterior remodeling except kitchens and bathrooms. He wants no part of that because we know that. But especially when we talk about his roofing expertise, Jay is always 5 stars with the Better Business Bureau. He's a GAF Master Elite Installer, and he's one of the top-rated roofers in this entire region, and with good reason. He has a very solid business structure. For one thing, Jay is very he has great installers, great technicians, but he's also he's able to price himself competitively because he keeps his overhead low. He doesn't waste time. He doesn't waste money on bells and whistles. And so when you get a quote, you're going to be amazed at how competitive his pricing is. But one of the things that also sets Jay apart is the fact that he's a former insurance agent, which is hugely helpful because if you have any issues with your home that you're wondering, is this going to be covered by my homeowner's insurance? Maybe there's damage and you're not sure because it is a complicated process. Well, Jay should really be the first person you call. He's going to come out. It's a free estimate. He's going to look over the situation. And if you have a path forward with making a claim on your homeowner's insurance, he can help you navigate that entire process, which is like, I mean, it's almost like free legal advice. It's really a useful service that he's able to provide. Allan and I both got our roofs replaced that way. It's so I can attest how helpful that is. As we say, Jay's always 5 stars with the Better Business Bureau, and he's just he brings a lot of energy and enthusiasm to every project, and don't discount that. That's hugely important. And they're there to get the job done. They want this to be done as efficiently as possible. So you're going to be amazed at how effective he is with his time use when he's on a project with you. So we love Jay Hill. He's a great guy to work with. And when you call, you're going to be speaking directly to him. So give him a call. You can reach Jay at 901-484-5645 or go to bigmroofingandremodeling.com. Okay, so Alan, before the break, we were talking about these Austrian power giants, which there's 2 at the moment. There's going to be 9 total, 1 for each region. I guess I guess in Austria they each have a state, kind of like we have the United States.
I was going to say, I wonder if Austria got this from Iceland, actually, the land of your people, Joe.
Oh, what do they got going on there?
Because this makes me think of a bigger question, too, with regards to artistic expression, going back to that phrase again, of there's a thing that in Iceland called the Land of Giants, where they have power lines that are in the shape of giants holding the power lines. And
so they started this. Okay.
Because, like, Iceland is known for, like, what is the name?
Frost giants?
Yeah, the frost giants.
Right.
And so it's like that's part of their mythos and culture. And so how can we incorporate our mythos and culture into the necessary infrastructures rather than the ones that I said might become kitschy if they're like, if they're not already a necessary structure?
Yeah, I guess the more artistic you get, it's not gonna appeal to everybody, but you still should make them aesthetically pleasing. But Alan, I was thinking of this rethinking of our infrastructure. I suppose bridges are one of the best examples of this. We have to have bridges; they're necessary, but most bridges have a decorative element. I mean, the M Bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge. So many bridges are really cool to look at.
Well, the fact of the actual physics of a bridge makes them unbelievably cool. Of just driving around town here in Memphis, we have a variety. I don't think people understand how much water flows through Memphis.
Right.
Because we have a number of creeks and small rivers, honestly, all over town. So unexpectedly, you periodically pass an old bridge.
Yeah.
And it's got 1905 lighting.
Right.
Or it has the ballast on the side for the sidewalk. Or it has, so just driving around town here, you can go back 100, 150 years, and the bridge is still standing. And it looks good. But, it's an aesthetic, and they look good. They hold up. We're doing all right.
Here's another idea because, okay, so this is going to sound like a crazy combination, but my thought was by combining or maybe by showcasing certain things like these power lines, making them decorative and making them something. It's taking something that's usually an eyesore and making it almost a tourist destination or something like that. Well, I was thinking, okay, what if you took like a sewage treatment plant,
right?
And then you incorporated an aquarium there.
I think that's been done. I think it's been done, actually.
It's okay, well, what you're doing there is, for one thing, you're taking something that would just basically be a boring, functional, location, but also you're showcasing the importance of clean water. And you're I don't know, it's in other words, I think it's almost good branding for your infrastructure, if that makes sense. Like, it's okay, we have to be reminded what a blessing it is to have clean water. You've talked about it in history, Alan, with dirty water, what that's done to, sickness and disease and everything. So just, so instead of just taking it for granted, it's like, hey, this is just a reminder that, and you get to look at some cool fish while you're at it. So.
Well, rather than combining a few things like that, I would love to see more utilities of... Next time they build one, I'd like to make sure that it had a tour circuit.
Oh, now that's an idea. What do you mean by that? That sounds interesting. All right,
you and I get involved in different projects. And for whatever reason, we get to go behind the scenes in some of these places. And Joe, you know as well as I do, some of these places are astounding.
That's true.
When you walk in.
Like the backstage area of the Orpheum, when you find out all the levers and all the contraptions and stuff. Yeah.
Well, having been through the inner workings of a dam, you walk through that and you realize, we'll talk more about this coming up, but, I saw you think like a Hobart mixer you put on, you have at home.
Yeah.
You're making bread. I saw a mixer a couple of weeks ago bigger than my truck.
And what were they mixing? Cement? Or?
they were actually mixing Italian spices. You talk about smelling good.
Oh, okay. There you go.
But this thing, when you look at some of the infrastructures that actually make our world possible, I think people would have a greater appreciation of what it takes if they could get a chance to go see it.
Yeah, instead of it being fenced off, you get to go through
Let's make it a part of. Let's
make it a party.
Yeah, let's make it. If you want to go take a tour and want to see, have you ever been inside a artesian well pumping station?
Oh, yeah, that sounds cool, man.
Have you ever been in one?
No,
I have.
Yeah.
They're astounding. You're just like, wow. So that pipe goes down 2,500 feet, and we get 600 cubic gallons, per minute of water out of this place. And it's astounding when you start seeing the numbers and the size of things. And when you get to tour these things, it is pretty staggering what infrastructure looks like. And I think Austria is just taking that first step and going, yeah, you got to look at it anyway.
Right.
Let's get it in there. But see, I would love to see more of that over here where, you can go look at a pumping station. You could go see how this works.
And you'll be sparking a new generation of people because we have to keep making these. We need to get future engineers interested in this, and so that's a great idea.
How can we make mosaic style like solar panels? Going back to Jay Hill's joke about did he make aesthetically pleasing mosaic tiling for roofs?
Wouldn't it be interesting if everything just there was aesthetic choices involved, not just functionality and stuff. So
it is what we do for a living, Joe.
Pretty cool. So yeah, good stuff. Check it out, and let's rethink our infrastructure. And let's make them interesting. So, hey, Allan, when we come back, I have a little bit of a retrospective. Now that I'm about a month or two into my big remodel at the house, I wanted to make a report and let you know how it's going. You're listening to Tool Talk Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Tool Talk Radio with Joe and Allan.
Dying tickles.
News Talk 98.9, the roar of Memphis.
And welcome back to Tool Talk Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson with Thor's Hammer, Carpentry and Wood Turning, here with my buddy Allan Gilbreth from darkoakmedia.com and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And I'm going to have to put a pin in my retrospective on the remodeling because we got some text. But Allan, before the break, we were really we're really enjoying this idea of taking things that are necessary, like our infrastructure, and making them interesting and decorative. And I thought you had a brilliant idea about tours for the sewage treatment plant. Why can't this become a destination spot and you get to go and watch what's going on?
When you see the size of some of the equipment that we use, like a water screw.
Right.
It just takes water from one side to the other. I'm looking around the studio. It wouldn't fit in the studio.
Yeah.
And all right, and I'll be funny for just a second. Imagine a 6th grader going on the tour, and this is what happens when you flush the commode.
So you get all this.
You got a line down the block. But it would be follow from, this is where the wastewater from your house. This is where it goes, and this is what we do with it.
Exactly.
And
I think it's a brilliant idea.
It creates trust and honest communication between, because, all of us are part of a system that if one of us were not to do our little job and everything, it would kind of collapse. Each of us is sort of a keystone part. And so imagine the transparency, because it's like when people go on civilian ride-alongs of police officers, it helps them understand a little bit more of what they do and appreciate it. Yep. And so by having that transparency, even with something a little bit more menial, seeing how the commode functions.
Although that ain't menial, Mac. What if it didn't function the way it did?
Yeah.
Good.
You want to find out how important something is?
Yeah.
Don't have it.
Right. So, well, that's good stuff, man. But Max, you said we got some texts, and we should address them. What do we got, man?
Well, first off, I'm going to address this one, which was originally addressed to me yesterday, and I went ahead and answered anyways. I call him now Dramatic Pause John.
Okay.
Because he said, could someone stop producer Max from the long dramatic pauses?
I don't think we'll ever be able to do that. So
I'm just going to point at a poster of William Shatner and go, good luck.
Are they talking about your daily deviations and things, Max?
I suppose so, yeah.
You do have a very dramatic style, I have to say. But, hey, everybody's got their own form of expression.
Like Calculon.
So, sorry, John. He ain't changing for nobody. So, yeah. All right.
And
Sounds
so
good.
someone said, Kevin G, when Allan was talking about coming from Texas, he said, good to know one of y'all hails from God's country.
Oh, okay. He's a Texan.
We're not subtle about where we're from.
Now, Texas is like its own country, so
It
Kevin's
was
got to
its
be
own country.
Well, I mean, he's got to be more specific in what part. Is he from the wet, marshy, humid part, or is he
No,
from
we
the
don't care.
desert,
It's from
mountainous
Texas.
part?
No,
or-
it's all Texas.
Okay. All right. Cool. Sounds good.
And then I guess this was coming from our cosmic homeowner discussion. It's the idea of like a fusion generator from like Back to the Future. Like we need one of those.
See, who sent that message?
Howard.
Howard. I'm thinking the exact same way, and maybe it's okay. Now, that was a pretty handy thing. You stuck everything in there. But what if they had a realistic thing? Like I said, what if you took certain things and just compressed them, or they were down to their basic element, Or maybe that's the thing. Maybe instead of mixing so many things together, we have like one thing that contains your cereal and one thing that contains your whatever. But that could easily be broken down.
Welcome to technology marching forward. I think basically for every technological misstep we make these days, we're making a good step the right direction because we are getting away from. We're learning. And a lot of people like to pick on the battery tech right now and go, well, it makes pollution too. Yes, it does, but we're learning. We're freeing ourselves.
Right.
Yeah, we're freeing ourselves from the tech of the past. And we're moving forward to a tech of the future. And I believe it was Dr. Isaac Asimov who said there becomes a point where, technology and magic are indistinguishable from each other. Because if you think about the fact that we commonly rely on Wi-Fi today.
Yeah, and we don't see it.
All right, I remember being amazed not that long ago in 1999 with this chat room internet stuff. I wonder if that's going to catch on.
Yeah.
So, tech grows, changes. The aesthetics change. As we become more comfortable with something, it has a tendency to exponentially grow from there. So, like I said, it's a culture change. And I think our cultures are heading towards less waste, more efficiency, better use of resources. And I love picking on LED lights for that because, the regular light bulb, it's changed. It uses so much less power now.
Yeah. Go ahead, Max.
I was just going to say, too, like, we had one more text.
Oh, okay.
All right, awesome.
Norman Rockwell said, I'm a customer of HSUD, Holly Springs Utility Disaster, and we have a different way of disguising our power lines and poles. They let the trees grow up into the lines to cover them up. Aesthetically pleasing, but not very functional.
I think there's a lot of sarcasm in that one. You can't do that, obviously.
I detect a slight amount of passive aggressive.
Yeah. But, okay, I see what he's saying. But still, I think there's ways to do it. Maybe the position of power lines or just the route that you run them or something like that. So, but I don't know. Okay.
Well, again, as tech grows, we're getting into more and more. I think we're going to be heading into a more modular grid as the power companies grow, which means, we may have, if we have high tree areas where we got to run lines, they may actually be able to come loose and just be plugged back in instead of actually breaking.
Well, that's what we need, instead of, and there's also these new things of, like I said, we've been having these random power outages where the power goes out, and back in the day, I would be like, oh my gosh, how long is it going to be out? But if you wait about a minute and a half, it goes off and it resets itself. So circuit breakers, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that they may become a thing of the past pretty quick. Power outages and I don't know. We might just get a more functional...
all moving forward.
Yeah, and I'm not one of these doom and gloom people either because it's easy. A lot of people, I think, these days, it's always easy to just pick on the things that aren't working. But when you step back and you look at how many things really are working and how many good things we have, and just the fact that we have clean water and electric, I don't know.
Well,
I think we're moving in the right direction. So, and then plus, if we could ever harness these octopi to get them up to speed, because there's just a lot of
so long as they're not harvesting us.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, next week I think what we'll do is I don't want to shortchange this, but this remodel at my house was pretty all encompassing,
right?
And it was a really good experience, and I feel like I want to talk about it. Was just I saw a lot of really good business practices and a lot of good practices happening at this remodel. And it's funny because it was a referral by Jay Hill, one of Jay Hill's people and something. So, but anyway, and Allan, we can't say too much about this, but you've got there's going to be some new things coming here in about 2 weeks?
About 2 weeks, yeah. I got a lot going on.
We can't tease it at all?
No, not yet, but we can tease the tease that in a couple of weeks, I got a whole lot of stuff coming up in time for Thanksgiving.
Stand by, because he's not kidding. You're going to be yeah.
I'm gonna be a very busy camper. Yes.
Okay. And just a reminder, we want you to go to Facebook, follow us at Tool Talk Radio, and join the community. Check out the posts we've made over there. Mm-hmm. Follow all of our podcasts and everything that we save. And actually, we don't say this enough. They should give us a rating and review. That makes a big difference for the algorithm. So, but anyway, but another dynamic and wide-ranging episode of Tool Talk Radio is in the can. So, it's time to get out of here. So, on behalf of my buddy Allan Gilbreth and my pal Max over there behind the glass, I'm Joe Thorderson. Thanks for listening to Tool Talk Radio, and we'll see you next week.
Now go hug an octopus.